Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Home Studio Simplified show. This is round 2 of a follow-up interview with Kagun, the creator of Kreative Devices. And I wanted to get him back on here because there was a lot of things that sort of slipped through the cracks question-wise, and also because you guys had actually curated some more questions about the products that he has to offer. And I wanted to get him back on so that we could make sure that we got all of your questions answered. As you see on your screen right now, we have several different modules that are available. These were all part of a Ultimate Cakewalk by BandLab tutorial course that used to be a paid course, still is a paid course on the 𝗏𝗪𝗀 Academy, but it used to be a paid course on my website. It's now free on the YouTube channel. So go and check that out if you're a Cakewalk user, or even if you're not. Once you get to module 10, it's all about mixing a song from start to finish. You're going to really like that. So that's going to be incredibly helpful. Now, if you're new around here, this channel exists to simplify the complexities of the home studio and help you create professional sounding music in a less than professional space. And the motto around here is that we can dream alone, we can even create alone, but together, that's where we can achieve so much more. Now, before we get into this interview, let's also give a quick shout out to the 𝗏𝗪𝗀 Academy for all that they do. And we'll just jump right into our interview with Kagun, and we'll make sure that we also will try to curate some of your questions as well. So feel free to ask questions as we are interviewing him, and we will try to get to them. We have quite a few follow-up questions that we're going to be answering. So just be mindful of that. And we do only have about an hour. So be mindful of that as well. We'll try to get to all of them. If we don't, leave them in the comment section down below. I'll be checking back in. I'm sure he'll be checking back in the comment section, and we'll try to get all of your questions answered accordingly. All right. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, the man, the myth, the legend, it's Kagun.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me back on the channel again.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it. You know, I always say that this is one of my favorite YouTube channels, and it really is a pleasure. You know, I appreciate all that you've done, again, for everyone, you know, from beginners to, you know, professionals, and especially in the Cakewalk community. I've been watching your channel for a long time, as I said before, and I noticed that you have a real passion for this, and that's why you were the first person that I reached out to with these devices, because I wanted someone like you that has that passion for what you do, just like I do. So thank you again.
Well, thank you so much for reaching out. The laptop has been an amazing addition to the home studio, not just because of the mobility feature of it, but just because it looks really cool. Everywhere that I'm taking it, I mean, I open it up and people's like, whoa, where did you get that laptop? And how did you get that on the cover of it? And when I started explaining some of the specs on it, of course, I've got about 6 to 8 credits away from having my IT degree in informatics with a sort of a concentration in digital forensics. So I know enough about computers to be dangerous, enough that whenever I start actually explaining some of the specs, they're like, wow. And especially people that know anything about computers, they realize just what a great value it is. And in fact, I just brought up the laptop to our creative team at our local assembly, and we had all of these individuals that are on the creative team in there. And one of the individuals, his name is 𝗬𝗪𝗧. He's sort of over the tech side of things. When I opened this laptop up, I seen his jaw drop, and he was like, so that's the laptop you were talking about? We got to talking about the specs. He literally flipped out when I told him how much it cost. So I look forward to probably, at least I know for a fact, getting, you know, pushing him your way and him becoming a customer, but even quite possibly our entire school might even be coming on board soon. So apart from that, though, one thing that I was interested in, and that you have recently also allowed me to check out, is this awesome external display. Now this thing, it looks a lot more sleek in person than it does on camera. But it's got a cool little stand. As you can see, I can prop it up here, and I don't have it turned on just right now, but the thing is, it's really built of some amazing materials, and it's touchscreen, which is super cool. Apart from that, I was actually able to use this thing as an external monitor for my camera, which I was like, that's super cool. I didn't even like, I always wanted an external monitor for my camera for whenever I'm doing videos where I'm not sitting in front of the desk. That worked out very well. And the price point on this is astronomical as well. I mean, it's just not on the high end, but I mean, it's astronomical that it's so affordable. So besides the obvious, you know, customization options that you offer and, you know, the awesome price points, are there any other features that sort of set your devices apart from other brand devices around the same price?
Well, I don't want to sound a bit full of myself, but it's going to be hard to find another device, especially a big name device, with the same specs for anywhere around the same price. But one of the things that you will notice if you do find a device that's around the same price, besides the fact that the specs are lower, the body's usually made of plastic, and our devices have a solid aluminum chassis, which you usually find in higher end devices. Also, a lot of newer devices, I would want to say within the last couple of years maybe, have pretty much been Windows 11 only. I have a buddy of mine that bought a laptop last year and he wanted to put Windows 10 on it. He did, but then there weren't Windows 10 drivers for some of the hardware, so he had to go back to Windows 11. He was literally forced to use Windows 11. And I myself am a Windows 10 user. I prefer Windows 10 over 11. So one of the things that I wanted to make sure was these devices were Windows 10 compatible. So that's something that you don't have to worry about with these devices. So they're Windows 10 compatible. They have alloy chassis, and you're getting top tier specs for that price.
See, that's crazy too, given the price point that you're offering these at. So yet again, it's so good to bring you back on here just to discuss this, because I don't think people really understand just how much of a value this is until they're actually holding the product in their hands. Now, with that being said, I know we keep coming back to the prices, but for individuals like myself, who we have a strict budget, especially now that tax time came and really did us in. But there's other individuals within my audience, I know especially, that they live paycheck to paycheck, or they live on a monthly check. Maybe they're retired or something like that. So your prices are, honestly, they're really hard to believe in today's economy, especially. How will you be able to maintain these prices going forward in the future?
That is a very good question. Unfortunately, these are introductory prices.
Gotcha.
And they're actually running longer than they were supposed to. This started back in August. They were supposed to go for, you know, just 3 months. And I'm fighting really hard to try to keep it going because, you know, Black Friday is coming up. So I didn't want to have to bring the price up and then bring it back down. So we're going to try to keep it consistent for everyone, you know, throughout the holidays. But at the end, it's really not possible. You know, we would have to be moving a lot of units to try to justify keeping it at this price. But I'm doing the best I can. So the only thing I could say is hurry up and get one now before the price goes up. And it's funny because I've seen other people say that in comments, and that's the reason why I said that.
Yeah, exactly. That's the first thing. Everybody that's researched you after I've pointed them your direction, every single person is like, you better buy 1 or 2 or 3 laptops now before those prices get jacked up. And it's not anything that you're, you know, and I've talked to this gentleman on numerous occasions, both here in live settings or even across, you know, the internet through various auspices of the social media. And one thing that I have noticed is Kagun he's 𝗬𝗎, and that means what you see is what you get. So what he's saying right now, this is not like part of his business model that he's got baked in like other companies where you see where they offer these introductory prices, and then once everybody gets hooked on their product, you know, they shoot these things through the roof. This is actually something like he literally just said, like he's literally every day losing sleep trying to make sure that these prices stay the same that they are. But of course, with the economy the way that it's heading, a lot of this is out of his hands. And so I'm sure that he would he could say this as well, but I think it would be better received coming from me because, you know, it's hard to trust people these days. And so I would hope by now that you trust me. And so I take a lot of stock in his character, and I believe that he, like I said, he's doing the best that he can with what he can do. So before, whenever we talked about, your devices in general, you had said something about, and this kind of piqued my interest. You'd said something about how that you helped to design these devices, and you tell us exactly what your involvement is in that.
Okay, that is another good question. A lot of people were curious. Now, I wasn't there drawing out, you know, schematics or anything like that, but when I sat down and, you know, talked to our suppliers about what we can do, they showed me different chassis that they had available. Some that were already available, some that they were working on. Obviously, I wanted the newest ones. The first one was the Notebook Pro 16, the silver one. That was the best one because it was brand new. No one had it. So I figured, let's go with that. And then I said, well, we need one with a dedicated GPU, which they didn't have at the time. And they said they were thinking about that too. Let's design something. They started showing me these renders of what turned out to be the Pro G, the one that you have. And I said, it looks great. Let's go with that. So that came out, I want to say maybe a month and a half after the regular Notebook Pro. And we launched them both in August. You know, before the website came out, I sold them through PayPal only. And then when the website came out, you know, they were sold on the website. So from August till now, it's kind of crazy to think that it's been such a short ride, you know?
Yeah, that's a pretty quick launch to be able to go.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just a few months. A lot of people, you know, like even at the place of my employment, when we have a new product that's getting ready to come out, sometimes it's years in the making before we actually get to launch day. So that's some pretty quick turnover. So that lets me know that not only are you doing your part, sort of feet on the ground and, you know, research wise and all of that, but it also lets me know that the company that is working alongside of you, that they're doing their part as well. So that's good to know.
Yeah, well, these companies, like I said before, they make laptops for other people, you know, so it's not something new for them. They've been doing this for a long time. So the same way they make their products, they make ours. They just obviously have to make sure that the chassis looks different than someone else's, right?
Right.
So I'm grateful. I really am.
So I want to real quickly, I want to let you guys know there is a little bit of a lag on the Google Meet that we're using right now. And maybe that would have been cured if I would have used a Zoom or something like that. But this actually, it worked just fine last time. So if you see a little bit of a lag between what I'm saying and what he's saying, and just bear with us, okay? So I've already sort of showed off my external display, which I love, by the way. I've actually been using this in a unique way as well. I want to showcase this because I can hook up my laptop and get a PowerPoint presentation ready on this laptop, take the external display, flip it around behind my laptop, connect it through there, and I can use PowerPoint Presenter on my end to have all of my notes ready and everything like that. And then on the other side, what the audience or what my small group is seeing is just my PowerPoint slides. It's super cool. It's a great way to take, like, instead of having to rent like a projector and let everybody be able to, you know, see all this, or put it up on a huge screen that's on the wall. It's yet again, it's another way to take something that I'm doing teaching wise and make it more mobile friendly and still allow everybody to see good, crisp, clear graphics of what I'm teaching. So about those external displays, can you tell us a little bit more about that addition that you've got to your repertoire?
So the external displays, something that I wanted to do, but the company that supplies our laptops, they didn't have external displays at the time. Trying to create something from scratch would have been extremely costly and time consuming. So I researched companies who already made displays, and the company that provides the displays now, I felt that they had the best products for the price. solid, sturdy metal construction, just like the laptops. And you know, you've seen it. You turn it on, it's like, wow, this thing is awesome. You know, and I remember when I got the first one, I was just like, wow, how, you know. So look, I wouldn't recommend something that I wouldn't use myself, and I use all of this stuff. If I'm honest, I might have too much of it, but it's great.
I can just see now how there's like screens plastered everywhere and laptops half opened, and it's probably like some inside of a Star Trek novel or something.
I've got a few.
So Michael Palma just commented here in the chat. He says, my Creative Devices laptop is a beast. Designing websites and running several programs at once takes half the time now. Awesome.
Nice.
So
thank you, Michael.
Yeah, that's a real world review right there, happening live even. What else was
Michael Palma? I don't mean to cut you off.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, Michael Palma is the CEO of 𝗏𝗏 Creative.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I was doing a little bit of research on the website earlier. In fact, let me see if I can't pull that up for our viewers real quick. Let's see here. Yeah, there we go. So this is sort of a quick encapsulation of what his website looks like. One of the things that I noticed though was the new 14-inch has a different processor. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So the original 14-inch was made the same as the 216s. Well, it was supposed to have been, I should say. There was a little discrepancy, and they were supposed to redo it. And then they ended up having supply issues. So we needed to start from scratch with a new supplier to build a whole new 14. But I needed something to fill the space. One of the things that we also noticed with the original 14, because it has the same processor as the 216 inches, it's a beast, right? But it's not very battery friendly because it's so powerful. And most people that want something small like a 14-inch, they're usually on an airplane or in a cafe or in a park. They're doing something remote where they're using more battery instead of having it plugged in like you would with a bigger laptop. So I was thinking, well, you know what? Since we have to wait anyway, and just in case this doesn't work out, we should probably think about putting something in that's almost as powerful, but definitely more battery friendly, so to say. And so instead of having a 20-thread CPU that boosts up to 4.70 gigahertz, you have a 16-thread CPU that boosts up to 4.70 gigahertz. So take away 4 threads, somehow it makes it a lot more battery friendly, but it's still a beast. You can still do anything you want with it.
Awesome. Well, that's a good explanation there. So that makes total sense. Another big question that seemed to be coming up a lot was, and it's awesome that you offer a protection plan, but can you actually explain more about the premium protection plan?
Sure. I like to think of it as insurance. So imagine you have insurance for your vehicle, right? Mm-hmm. You pay the down payment, and then most of the time you're paying every month, you know, and hoping that nothing happens. What we wanted to do is, we didn't feel it was necessary for you to pay every month for something, right? We give you one payment. You pay $200 down one time for a laptop, or $100 down for a display. And then you don't pay anything. Like if you don't get into an accident, you don't have to pay a deductible, right? So then you're just good to go. But if you do get into an accident, you have to pay your deductible on your vehicle. So you pay your deductible on your device. So let's just say if you have an external display and it's $300, then you're going to pay half of that $300, which is $150. It's a lot cheaper than anybody else, because most other places you're going to pay thousands of dollars for your device. Then you're going to pay $600 or more for a 4-year plan. But then if you don't use it, if you don't need to, you spent all that money for nothing. So not only are we giving you half the price or better on our devices, you know, but I think our plan just makes more sense. It's a lot easier for someone to pay $100 or $200 down If you never need it, you never need it. But if you do, it's easier to come off of $150 or for a display, or maybe $300 for a laptop or something like that.
Yeah, that makes
so it's going
sense.
to be half of the starting price of your laptop. Yeah, that's the balance that you'd have to pay.
Yeah, that makes total sense. So within that, is there like a place on the website where you can read more about what all is included, or is it, they're like, because I know there's individuals within the audience, they're going to be like, well, what about acts of God? What about, there's a
all
lot
of
of
that
scenarios.
Yeah, well, it's accidental protection. So if something happens, if you break it accidentally, you spill water in it, anything happens, that's what it's for. It's premium protection. You're covered.
Gotcha. Awesome.
Yeah. But you can find it on our website. If you scroll down to the bottom, you'll see links at the bottom about the premium protection.
Perfect. So J-Rdv, the gentleman that's sort of the lead of the creative team, one of the first things that he asked about when I opened up the laptop is that a sticker? When he looked at my awesome logo, and I said, no, that's actually laser engraved. And he got up from the table and walked over and had to he was like, what? So he was already like, his wheels were turning like, wow, we could get the school logo put on this, or I could get my business logo put on this. With that being said though, like, let's say a customer wants to order one of your laptops and they need to add specific details to their order. How would they go about doing that?
Specific details. Okay. That's a good question. So remember the last time I told you we do ship internationally. It's free international shipping. And one of the persons that I sent the laptop to was Christian Kohler from the Kohler audio cult. Now, Christian lives in Germany. He wanted a German version of his Windows operating system, as well as a German keyboard, which makes sense because he lives in Germany. And I was able to put all of that in, and our suppliers was able to make it. So if you or anyone else that lives in another country that wants something like that specific, any specific detail, when you click on purchase, there's going to be a window that pops up. The same window where you can upload the image of your custom logo. It asks you for your cell phone number, which is important because they need it to send you tracking information. We're not going to call you, don't worry about it. And you'll see at the bottom, there's some place where you can type in all the details that you want, any specifics you want. If you want a particular plug, a particular language keyboard, a particular language operating system, any specific details you want, you can type in there. And as long as they can take care of it, they will.
Awesome. So let's say then that a customer was willing to pay extra for a higher spec part, like a laptop where they wanted maybe more RAM than what they initially ordered, or maybe they want to swap out processors. Could that be done? And how would they go about doing that?
Okay. So it wouldn't be possible for everything, but let's take your laptop, for example, right? For the Pro G, just like all of our devices, we push the i7, but you can get an i9 if you really want one. It's going to cost you $200 extra, but you can get one. The problem with the i9 is it's always sold out. It's not always readily available, and I don't really think it's worth the extra $200. Again, it's only 30 megahertz top speed difference. It's across 20 threads, so it will make a difference, but real world, I don't think it's worth an additional $200. But if you really do want one, you can special order one, and if we have one available, we'll put it in the Pro G for you.
Nice. So obviously there's a lot of big name brands out there. We're looking at, if you're into gaming, Alienware is kind of running the show right now, or Asus, or, insert name brand here. And the big box stores, Best Buys, places like this, they have these Black Friday sales that are like crazy. People stand in line sometimes for days to get to these. With that being said, there's a lot of competition on the market. Are you worried about competing with bigger brand names, or is that something you lose sleep over?
No, not at all. the big brands are the big brands. I'm not trying to be a big brand. I didn't create this to be a big brand. My audience, is creators. Now, you don't have to be a creator. Anyone can use our devices. If you go to school and you want something powerful enough to handle all your schoolwork or all your business tasks, and you don't want to pay a lot of money, then our devices are perfect for you. But especially if you're a creator, you need something powerful. But if you're just starting out, you can't afford to spend thousands of dollars on something, So that's why we do what we do. So the big name companies, they're going to target mostly gamers with all these brand new features. They're going to get, give you the latest and greatest this and charge you for it, right? We're not interested in that. We're giving you something that you need, right? Instead of just something like, here, take the latest and greatest, because the latest and greatest isn't always the best. Newer isn't always better, as I always say. But price per performance, that's what we're giving you. Hands down, it's the best.
Absolutely. Which brings me up to, I had this thought last time we were chatting, but I don't think I ever circled back around to it. But I know there's certain companies like Sweetwater, for instance, they offer what's called like a creation station, which is a computer that is actually like rack mounted, and you're able to, like, it's completely built just for audio. I don't know if that's something that would be, down the line, if that's something that you would be able to add to your product line, but it would be super awesome if you had something that was rack mounted. I'm just kind of throwing that out there.
Okay. Something to think about.
Absolutely.
I like that. Yeah. Well, besides that, we do have other things in the works. So that is something that I could think about. But yeah.
Would you be able to divulge with the audience maybe some other things you have in works, or is it kind of still?
Sure. No, I can talk about it. It's nothing really hush hush. We actually have high powered tablets coming out, as well as all-in-one desktop solutions. So let's say you're a school or a business that uses desktops, but you might want to save space. Not everyone has somewhere to put a tower. Or sometimes you get those little mini towers and they're still taking up room on the desk. Give you an all-in-one. Just have your monitor ones. Some of them even support dedicated graphics cards if you want to play games that do heavy graphical stuff on it. It's impressive. It's impressive. I'm excited about it. We haven't officially launched it, but they are available as of now. So let's say your school wants all-in-one, desktop solutions, we can definitely supply them to anyone right now. Same thing with the tablets. We have them. Snapdragon Gen 8 chipsets, 16 gigs of RAM, 1 terabyte SSD in a tablet. It's crazy, right? And I'm excited. As a matter of fact, I think one just got mailed to me today. I didn't even take it out the box yet. But yeah, everything is available now. Live unboxing. That would be awesome, but I'd have to run out and go get it. Right. But yeah, so I'm excited. Like I said, everything's available now. We just haven't put it up on the website as of yet. But yeah, talk to your school, let me know. We can make it happen. If you want anything particular on it, no problem.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So if someone wanted to, like, let's say maybe someone bought one of your laptops, myself included, and I wanted to leave you a review. I know that Google reviews are, they actually rank higher. Imagine that, because they're from Google. So Google's like, hey, I'm going to push these up there. Where are the Google reviews for Creative Devices if I wanted to leave one of those?
We did sign up for Google reviews. We've actually had some people complain that Google would not let their review go public. I've had several people complain to me that they left reviews. They can see their reviews, but when they search from someplace else, like on their phone or another computer, they can't see it. So far, Google has only allowed 5 reviews to go public. I don't know why this is. Someone did mention that it's probably because too many people might be trying to leave a review the same day and Google doesn't like that, I don't think it makes any sense. I think if 100 people wanted to leave a review, let them leave a review. What's the issue? But for whatever reason, Google is not letting people's reviews go public. I apologize. It is not me. It is Google. But you can submit your reviews to us, go on the website or our socials, send us whatever you want, and we'll put it on our website. If you go on our website, we have reviews from actual people that we put down. So that's it. I hope Google takes care of it, but if they don't, you can always give your review to us. Like I said, we'll put it on our website.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. And it's not like, and it could be very well because maybe they're all 5-star reviews. And Google's like, possibly. Wait a minute. There's no way all these people are giving 5-star reviews on something.
Well, I haven't gotten anything negative. I think the worst comment that I've gotten on these laptops was the fans in the Pro G were a little loud.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, I understand if you are used to something that's dead silent and you start to hear fans as the machine's ramping up, then yeah, you know, you're going to wonder what that's about. But true story, we did talk about this before, but true story. So I was still using another laptop in my studio. And in the middle of bouncing a session, I walked away, came back, my laptop turned off. I'm like, what's going on? I go to turn it back on, it won't turn on. It's burning hot. Now that laptop was quiet. And I thought to myself, oh man, what am I going to do now? But these are the trade-offs, right? If you want something that's quiet, it's not going to keep your devices cool. If you want something that's going to keep your device cool, help prevent thermal throttling, and give you the performance you paid for, you're going to have to hear some fan noise. It's really not that big of a deal. And as I said before, if you're doing audio, playing music through speakers or headphones, you're not going to hear that. You're only going to hear it when you're in a quiet room and you're listening for it. But you have to decide which is more important, the performance,
Yeah. And I will say that whenever I pull the laptop out, it's probably 5 to 10 minutes into using it. So it's already heated up itself when the fans do kick on. Once they go through their initial cycle, though, it's not really that big of a deal at all. And furthermore, you had even suggested getting some kind of a cooling mat or something like that. I am looking into one of those now because if I'm going to be propping it open for a long period of time, doing a teaching session or something like that, I'm definitely going to need to be doing that. But I would even take that a step further and say, I've been doing something here in my home studio for quite some time now that seems pretty taboo. And that is, I will put an individual who's doing a vocal take right here in the middle of this room. This is a probably 12 by 12 room at the most. It's very lightly treated. So it's not like I've got this thing completely soundproofed or, it's got its issues. But I will put that individual in the middle of the room with a mic stand and a microphone, and I will play the song that they're singing to through the speakers facing at the back of that microphone. So the point of the null point or the rejection point of that microphone. Not one time, even doing that, have I heard or been like, oh my goodness, that was stupid. I shouldn't have done that. And that's like actual music being played into the back of that microphone. So yet again, if you are worried about the fan noise, point the microphone away from the fan noise. And that null point is more than likely going to take care of that noise anyway. And it's going to be so negligible that it's not going to be picked up in the mix unless you're just not recording properly. Maybe you've got your noise floor set way too low and then you have to crank up all kinds of compression. Then yes, you're going to hear everything. If you have your volume level set going in and you've done your proper gain staging, it should not be a problem at all. So,
right. I mean, I can't hear your fans. Can you hear mine?
Right.
Right. So
I've actually got a box fan going right now just outside my room, and my wife just opened the door because it's smoking hot in this house. And I can hear it, but I know for a fact because I'm listening on headphones that you guys cannot hear it. So, and that's a box fan, for crying out loud. the next question I wanted to ask you was, so we talked a little bit about those all-in-ones, which really piqued my interest. And I was going to ask you about some more products that you were thinking of releasing, but I think we've already kind of covered that with the tablets and whatnot. But with that being said, I noticed on your website right now, like we can't see the tablets or the all-in-ones. Is there a place that we can go to check these out before they're actually on the website?
Sure. So let's say you, an individual or a school or business who wanted to, you can contact us on the website or any of the socials, and we will reply to your message with images and videos, anything that we can supply you with to show you the different options we have for the all-in-ones and for the tablets.
Awesome. So the next obvious question is, with these price points, there's no way, I mean, let's just be real here. There's no way that you can be making that much money off of these in order to, I mean, you're not rolling in the Benjamins over there. So if you're not getting rich off of this, or you're at least not creating at this point something sustainable enough to quit your full-time job or whatever it is to offset that, then why would you be doing this?
Well, if I'm honest, I would have to say I do it for the love of it. You know, I have a passion for creating. I've always had it. And I remember when I couldn't afford something to, you know, get my creative ideas out. And I thought, this is ridiculous. Like, how do they expect people to be able to afford these things? You know, if you're a professional, then you have the money. But if you're just starting out, it's impossible. It's impossible. So when this opportunity fell in my lap, it was either I let it go and hope that someone else will do it, which no one has up until now, or I take it up and say, you know what? You know that saying, be the change that you want to see?
Mm-hmm.
It came to me, so I figured maybe it came to me for a reason. Let me do something with this. Since no one else is doing it, you know, I felt like I had to. And I wanted to because I like helping, you know. That's my thing. Like, I would help people with their laptops, fix them. I used to custom build and repair. I, you know, built my studio that I had for me, but people would ask me to record them, and I would do, you know, I like helping. So if I'm able to, and I am now, it makes me feel good inside, you know. No, anytime, whenever I see you create something or anyone else create something, then I know that, you know, not that I had a hand in it, but, you know, I was able to help make sure that they could do that. I feel good because I like to see people be creative.
Absolutely, man. That just flows really well into the community aspect that we've tried to build around here on this channel. And everything that I have put my hand to on this channel, everything that it's ever been about from day one has been trying to help people. And anyone who's visited this channel for any number of days, weeks, months, years, especially if you've been here for years, you know, never once have I risen to that state where I'm, you know, able to quit my job. I have a full-time job outside of my studio. I'm just like the rest of you guys. And could I have possibly went to that next level? Could I have done that? Yes. If I have done things unscrupulously, for one, or if I had done things in a manner to where, like, there's a lot of people that started out where I did and they made it to where they're at, you know, making $1 million a year because of the way they treated the people on the way there. Like, I see my subscribers, individuals that are here in the chat right now, you yourself, I see you guys as co-creators. I see all of you as co-conspirators, so to speak, where we're all in this together. We're trying to make awesome music. We're trying to utilize our home studios and creative purposes, whether it's for music or it's for art or it's for writing books, whatever it might be. And I see that everyone that comes across this channel and everyone who has formed this community, they all have sort of the same, like, persona about them of they just want to help people. To me, that's like mind blowing because it goes back to that whole thing of, you know, there's an old metaphorical saying that we say here in the States, and we say birds of a feather flock together. And it literally means like that if I was to get online and purport my message of who I am, that eventually I would attract the same kind of people. And so based off of what I've tried to be, I've tried to always be real. I've always tried to be helpful. I've tried to make sure that everyone has the best value possible. And I've given more stuff away than I've ever sold, which is why this never became a full-time gig for me, which is exactly what you're doing. And so because of that continual sowing into the galaxy, if you want to call it that, I think it's just called the law of sowing and reaping. You will reap what you sow. And I have sowed into this community and into my channel and all of those within my sphere of influence. I have sowed this seed of let's just give and let's help one another. And in turn, individuals like yourself have come up alongside of me and said, hey, I like what you're doing, brother. Let me send you a laptop with your logo on it. And I'm like, the benefits though of being that kind of a person, Kagan, and I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but the benefits of being that kind of person that's not in this for the money is that if you keep going in the trajectory that you're going, you're going to end up, it's going to be a byproduct of just being a good person. And you're going to end up, you're going to reap what you sow. So just keep doing the good that you are doing, man. I see this company's really, it's got a lot of heart behind it. And like I said, I think you're not just helping one or two people here or there. I think this is going to be far reaching, and creatives everywhere are going to applaud your efforts in the sense that, I mean, one of the biggest sort of bottlenecks, especially nowadays with everything being digital, is your laptop if you're going to be mobile, or it is your desktop, or it is your tablet, or whatever it is that you're doing your creative work on. So if you're offering this for better prices than anyone else, and these things are stinking, they're beasts. I mean, those, like the specs that you just gave on the tablets themselves, that sounds mind boggling. I mean, that's like having a very large computer in the palm of your hand with those kind of specs. So with that being said, thank you so much for all that you're giving back into the community. Thank you so much for blessing me with a laptop. And I'm happy to bring you on here at any time and discuss anything that you got going on. Which leads me sort of down another road, because I know that you're doing this as a labor of love, as you've said, but I also feel like this is maybe even one of your creative outlets. And so if you could build anything, like let's just say you had unlimited resources, you had unlimited, money and everything, like if you could create any device, what would it be?
I can't think of something that I would want for myself per se, but I have thought about kind of the way you do. You have a community, and I like that. I always wanted to find a way to turn this into a community, and I would like to get the community's opinion on what they think the ideal laptop would be, right? So everyone get together, price per performance. What do you think would make the perfect laptop? The best processor, the best graphics card, the best screen size, best resolution, all of that stuff. Everyone get together, everyone vote on it. Whatever it is, once everyone agrees, this is these are the specs for the best overall creative laptop, right? My suppliers will build it. If we're serious enough and we can get, let's say, 50 or more people to pre-order it, they'll have no choice but to build it. And by doing this, we're giving us, the creators, the power. Because when you go to buy something from another company, you're limited to only what they have. But this way, we can decide what we want and make them build it for us. And then we can go from that to something else. And then from that to something else. This way we get what we want. We don't have to settle.
That
I hope that
sounds,
makes sense.
yeah, absolutely. That sounds really cool. Wow. Man, my brain's just like reeling over here. I'm like, okay, so here's my first idea I'll throw out. How about a giant walk-in computer? Like you walk in and there's a seat, kind of like have you seen like the Slate audio where they have like, it's a mixing board, but it's actually just a giant screen.
Right.
The Raven, I think is what it's called.
Right.
Like have that just encircling you to where you could like have like a swivel chair like this one. And you could be like doing a full like 360 mix, placing stuff in the, okay, that might be way out there.
Yeah, that would just be way too much. But it is a very good idea. That would be awesome.
Talk about immersive audio. You could be like in the mix, literally.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. No, but I mean, for example, let's just say someone thought 18 was too big. Maybe 17 is good, but it's not portable enough. Maybe 16 inches is kind of right in the sweet spot where you have a good size to view and it's portable enough to move around. Someone might decide a particular CPU is the best, or a particular GPU is the best, a particular screen resolution. Maybe 4K is too much for the screen size. Maybe 2K is perfect. It's, right in between. Just everyone figure out what they think the best device would be. And like I said, if everyone's serious about it, the suppliers will make it. We can choose what we want. And I think that would be awesome. I would love to see something like that.
Wow. Yeah, that could be, we could even maybe do like a poll here on the community tab of YouTube and just,
that'd be awesome.
Narrow it down until we get like what would be the ultimate creative laptop, specifically built for audio. We could even break it down into, say, just for audio. Like if you're only doing audio stuff, what would it be? That could be cool.
Or maybe even an all-in-one, something that can be used for audio and video, like the Pro G. This way you have one device that can do everything.
Well, that's got my wheel spinning now. Interesting. Okay, so we've covered a lot today, and I've seen very few questions come in, so I think we've actually done our job of asking really good questions here. I will leave it open for just but a few more minutes if you have any questions whatsoever. DJ Big Red 81 says best system for audio and video. Crackly Software, he says, how about a laptop with built-in music keyboard for on the road creating? Ooh, there's an idea. That would be kind of a cool, like open up the laptop and there's like just a really small, like, I don't know, 7-key little MIDI keyboard there. That could be crazy.
But you know what? A lot of software lets you use your keyboard, your QWERTY keyboard, to control the onboard keyboard in your software. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Did that make any sense?
Yeah.
So you have built-in virtual keyboards, and you can use your QWERTY keyboard to play whatever you want. So,
actually, what was it? I just seen one of my VSDI instruments. It might have been Abbey Road Studios Strings. Actually has that where you can pull up a keyboard like that and use your actual keyboard as your MIDI controller. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think that DJP says, I think the idea needs a video on its own. Perfect tool for the job discussion. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, we could definitely sit down and geek out about, because I would like to have, how about classes on live once a week? Yeah, I would definitely like to really get down to the brass tacks of, implementing a great sound card into one of these laptops to where literally like you wouldn't even have to have an external sound card like a Focusrite or, something like that. You could actually have it built into the laptop and maybe have like a breakout box that comes with the laptop where it has like XLR inputs and, high Z inputs for guitar. That could be cool. Or even It'd be even cooler if they could actually be built into the laptop, but I think that might be pushing the boundaries of what laptops are capable of right now.
It could be possible. I think the price would just be astronomical to do all of that stuff. I think price per performance wise, it would be better to just connect an audio interface since we all already have one.
Right.
Yeah. And the thing is, building the ideal device is true, but I want to be able to keep the price per performance in play because I want it to be affordable for the masses. You know, something depending on what we configure, it's probably going to be up there, probably a little more than the Pro G already. So we still want it to be affordable.
So Mark George says, did I hear that Kagun writes his own music? And if so, where could we hear it?
Well, my music per se, I never got to finish it, unfortunately. My old band, all of our stuff was taken down from YouTube when we disbanded. So I can't even let you hear that. I started writing a solo album. I felt like I was kind of bullied into doing one. People kept bugging me. And I was enjoying the music, but then I started working on other people's projects, and then my stuff just kept getting put on the side and put on the side. And you know how that goes. You know, I ended up helping everyone else, and I never got to finish my own stuff. So I do need to eventually pick my stuff up off the shelf, dust it off, go back through everything, make any changes if I want to, and then put it out. But I would still have to find musicians to go out there and learn it so we could run out and play and stuff like that, which is what is still in my heart. I still love performing as well as creating. And for those of you who are wondering, guitar is my main instrument.
We have another guitarist, ladies and gentlemen, which for those of you wondering is the best instrument.
I think it's the most expressive. I would go as far as to say that the electric guitar is the most expressive instrument because you can create so many sounds with it. You know, you can even add effects to make it sound like a synth. There's so much you can do. You know, make crazy noises if you have like a tremolo or all kinds of stuff.
Absolutely. So, DJ, I'm telling you what, he's chiding me about. So one of the things that I always told my Rocket Fuel members, these were individuals who had signed up for like some exclusive teaching. And I was telling them the reason why it was called the Rocket Fuel bundle is because I was teaching them how to write songs faster and get them released faster, get through them faster. We talked about all kinds of stuff, but one of the main things that I kept hitting on was monotasking, talking about how that this world has constantly pushed everyone into multitasking, but the brain is actually not wired to multitask. We're actually more wired to monotask. And here I'm telling all of these people this, and on the back end of all this, I'm revealing to individuals all the time how that I'm running a channel, working a full-time job, recording people on the side, making content. And I'm like, I'm telling these people to monotask and I'm not doing it myself.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like that imposter syndrome setting in. And, but what you just said, man, that was like, that's where I'm at right now. I spent the last 2.5 years, especially really helping people hone their own craft, that I put my own stuff on the back burner, so much so that now when I've sat down to write some of my own music again, it's like I've got to relearn how I do it again. I know all of the processes and I know all of the, I know all the technical stuff, but it's trying to get my mind back into that creative flow again. That's the hard part. So Michael Palma says, sorry. Where do you guys see laptops 10 years from now? And how do you see that impacting music creation? That's a good question.
I think that it is. It's a very good question. I think that they're only going to get more and more powerful. I think they're going to get powerful beyond necessity, if that makes any sense. Because the new technology that they're pushing, you really don't need it for audio, right? If we're talking about audio, you really don't need it for audio. And they just keep oh, this new thing is more powerful, this new thing is more powerful. I think the only advantage you're going to have is for certain things, you'll have to wait less. But for other things, you're still going to have to wait the same amount of time. Because if you're going through a serial bus, you're limited to the speed of that serial bus, regardless. Right? But it is interesting to see, to think about what's going to happen. Because if you think about 10 years ago, where computers were, we couldn't do the stuff that we're doing now on computers 10 years ago, right? So I'm sure 10 years from now, there's going to be newer technology that's going to allow us to do even more than we're able to do now. So I am looking forward to it. I really am.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because, like I said, I started with Cakewalk too, right? And just remembering what I was running that on, those old computers with Windows XP, oh gosh, those are the days. But and now, the time it takes me to export something, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I remember exporting projects or burning a disk back when burning or ripping was still a thing. And it's like you would set it on that and then you'd be like, okay, I'm going to go to the store now, or I'm going to go take a shower, clean the house, fold the laundry. By the time I come back, it might be done. We'll see.
Right.
And now it's just like you sit there and you go check your email, you come back and it's done. And it could be, an astronomical amount of gigs being transmitted or downloaded. It's just crazy how far we've come. I think from my own personal perspective, I feel like there's a lot of stuff heading towards that AI direction. It's sort of the point of no return right now, the event horizon, if you want to call it that. And what I see is more AI being built into laptops themselves to where music creation, for the most part, is going to probably become a lot of the technical stuff that I've taken all these years to learn is probably going to become automated, which we all know that even if AI does it, it doesn't always mean that it's going to do it well. But I think it's at least going to get to the point where you can throw a bunch of tracks at it and it's going to go, well, here's what a good mix would sound like. And you could go, ooh, that's pretty close. I just got to do this, this, and this. And it sounds really good. Do I think that's going to impact individuals like myself, maybe who are wanting to create a side business out of mixing and mastering for individuals? I don't think so. I think at the end of the day, human hands, human intellect, and human emotion is always going to be the one thing that AI will never be able to touch. So I don't see it completely destroying music creation as a whole, but if nothing else, just making it faster and easier and more accessible.
I agree. I think it'll probably end up being where you can basically tell the computer what you want it to do and it will do it for you. And like you said, then you can just make the adjustments, or you can tell it, I want it to sound like this song, and it will make it sound like that song. But you'll probably have too many generic sounding songs out there because everything will be so AI driven, right? And some people will love, especially it's going to be genre specific, I think. Some people will still appreciate the human feel that some individual puts, because everyone has their own style that they put into whatever they mix, right? Mastering too. But I think that standard AI sound is, well, it's going to be standard, right? And a lot of people are going to be force-fed it, and they're going to be made to believe that that's a great sound, and that's what they should be striving to achieve. So these tools are going to give you that standard sound. Everyone's going to use that, and then everything's going to sound the same. And some people are going to say, well, that's boring because everything sounds the same. But then the majority of people are going to think that it's a great sound because that's all they know. So I think it's going to be kind of up in the air. I think it really will be genre specific.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see too, because with any push towards any one direction, like let's say in the pop industry, there for the longest time, all pop music sounded the same. but there's always those outliers that come in and they're like, okay, but I want to push the boundaries. And we got individuals like the Beatles, for instance, who during a time when everything pretty much kind of sounded the same, they came out and said, we're going to push the boundaries. I'm interested in seeing where the boundaries are going to be pushed when it comes to AI. And I'm almost positive there's going to be individuals who find ways to trick the AI into being more creative, or trick the AI into, you know, thinking outside the box, which could be bad in and of itself, because then we got AI that's becoming self-aware, and then all of a sudden robots take over the world and Elon Musk becomes the Antichrist, and oh no, what's going just oh my goodness, we just went down a deep rabbit hole there. You're welcome, everyone.
Skynet.
Right.
But yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we could definitely go down that rabbit hole, but I don't think it's safe to do so.
No, they're probably listening in right now. With that being said, though, we could actually sit in here and talk about this stuff all day long, but I do want to be mindful of your time and my own as well. So with that being said, thank you so much, Kagun, for coming on the show and answering these follow-up questions. I don't see any more in the chat right now, so I think we're good. But at any time, if you ever want to come on and discuss a new product, or you want to come on and just answer some more questions, feel free to reach out and we'll try to make that happen. If you guys want to request him to come on for anything in the future, feel free to reach out as well and request, I would like to see Kagun again. Got no problem doing that. So until next time, Kagun, thank you so much for coming on, and you just keep doing you, man. You're doing a good job at it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right. Well, we'll see you later, brother.
Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.
See you later, brother. Take it easy.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us today on this live stream. I think, hopefully, anyway, we got most of your questions answered. And if you have any more, yet again, feel free to answer or ask those rather in the comment section down below. And also make sure that when you ask those questions, try to be as specific as possible, because I think sometimes what leads to a lot of confusion is when you ask sort of an open-ended question, and then it's hard for him to really answer that in the best way possible. So try your best to, if you do have questions, ask those questions very specifically. So if you're asking about a specific laptop or the specs of it, call those things out so we can know exactly what you're asking about, and we can go from there. So I don't really think there's anything else really that I needed to talk about, other than, just to, I don't know, maybe tell you a little bit about what's been going on with the rehabilitation program. But other than that, yeah, I think that about covers it. So until next time, let's spin the wheel of awesomeness. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Just when Robert thought she's going to get away without spinning the wheel, 𝗧cie 𝗁𝗂𝘀𝗻 takes over with another Top 20 Countdown. Coming in today at number 1, we've got Kagun singing, "I'm Gonna Sell You Some Affordable Beast of a Laptop." Take it away, Kagun. Hey, 𝗧cie 𝗁𝗂𝘀𝗻's not actually with us anymore, and I don't think he would be up for singing on the show. So before we need to talk about this, 𝗧cie, because before you just start throwing this stuff out there, maybe we need to talk about that before you. Okay. Yeah, it's called communication. I think we need to communicate more. Well, every time you talk, you're boring. All right, 𝗧cie, you need to just go in the other room. We got to spin this wheel, and you got to go push the button, which I think is in the basement. The basement I don't have. I see what you're trying to do, Robert, and guess what? I'm going to spin the wheel of awesomeness. All right, thanks. You guys, I don't know. Some days 𝗧cie is super nice, and then other days I don't know where his mind is at. I'm not sure. But yeah. So we got a little bit of trivia. Thank you so much, 𝗧cie, for spinning the wheel. He found the basement quickly, evidently. Today's trivia, instead of doing something about music, let's break this out and let's do a trivia on which of the laptops hosted on the Creative Devices website is the best bang for the buck? I've got my own opinion, and this is really just AI Casey. This is really just an opinion. So with that being said, you know, there's no right or wrong answer here. But in my personal opinion, the laptop that I got, which is the Pro G, I think that is definitely the most bang for your buck. But which one do you feel like on the website is the most bang for the buck? So speaking of which, here is the website now. It's taking a bit to load because I got way too much going on. But if we look at the laptops, boom. As of right now, we have 3 different options to pick from. Yet again, these are all completely customizable. The Pro G16, this is the one that I have. This thing is a beast. And I think it's the best bang for the buck. But if you're looking for something that doesn't have an integrated graphics card, either one of these two is going to do just fine. But it's just basically based off of what you would like. So in the comment section, yes, the best bang for the buck would be the Pro G16, according to DJ. And you know, I say there's no right or wrong answers, and I'm like, yes, that's the correct answer. So this isn't really trivia at all. It's more like opinion. Yeah, I made that word up, as you all can tell. All right, that'll be enough of that. Anywho, thank you all so much for stopping by the channel today and for just being good to the people that I bring here on the channel. I've already noticed that some of you have already went ahead and bought some of the laptops from Creative Devices. I would like to know your particular, not necessarily a review, but what's your take on those laptops after you receive them? You've had some time to work through them, to use them. Stop back on the channel and let me know what you thought about them. I think it'd be great to share those testimonials with other individuals as well. So until next time, remember that we can dream alone, we can even create alone, but together we can achieve so much more. God bless you all. Love you guys.